Hey guys, listen up. If you've ever tossed a penny into a jar thinking, it's just a cent, you might want to go dig the jar out right now. Seriously. Because buried in your pocket change, at the bottom of your glove box, or under the couch cushion might be a 2009 Lincoln penny that could be worth, ready for it, $2.3 million. Yup, 1 cent. 2.3 million. That's not a typo. Today, we're talking about one of the most surprising coin finds in the modern world. The 2009 no-mint mark bicentennial Abraham Lincoln penny. This little guy flew under the radar for years, but now collectors are throwing big money at it, and I'm here to tell you why. And stick around, because I'm going to share a story about how I almost spent one of these rare pennies on a vending machine snack. That one still haunts me. Alright, so let's get some basics out of the way. The year 2009 marked the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. To celebrate, the U.S. Mint released 4 special penny designs, each one showing a different chapter of Honest Abe's life. You've got the professional life design, where he's standing in front of the Illinois State Capitol, and finally, the presidency design, featuring the U.S. Capitol dome under construction. They were all minted that year. Now here's where it gets juicy. Most of these pennies were mass-produced, with billions made across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But a tiny number of 2009 Lincoln pennies were released without any mint mark. No P, no D, just a blank spot where the mint mark should be. That's the one collectors are losing their minds over. Especially if it's in top condition, and I mean flawless, uncirculated, shining like the day it was struck condition. If you've got one that checks all those boxes, it could be worth over $2 million. Why is it so rare? Good question. It's believed that a very small batch of these no-mint mark coins were either struck as test coins or accidentally released before the mint applied the mint mark die. Whatever the case, they're extremely scarce. And when it comes to coin collecting, rare plus historical equals dollar signs, big ones. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, who's actually going to pay $2 million for a penny? I thought the same thing, until I saw one of these babies go to auction and pull in a hammer price of $2.3 million. That's a life-changing chunk of change for something you could easily overlook. Most folks have no idea this penny is special. It's not shiny or gold or covered in diamonds. It just looks like a regular OL 2009 penny, until you look closely and notice the missing mint mark. That's the telltale sign. Combine that with top-tier grading from a reputable service like PCGS or NGC, and boom, you're sitting on a gold mine. Or should I say, a copper mine. Now, let me tell you a little story that still makes me sweat. A few years ago, I was digging through an old coffee can full of coins. You know, one of those, I'll roll them up one day cans. I was broke, hungry, and craving something from the vending machine. I grabbed a handful of coins and went downstairs to the break room at work. I dropped a few in, got myself a bag of stale pretzels, and went back upstairs. Later that night, I got curious and looked at the rest of the pennies I'd pulled from the can. One of them was a 2009 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. My heart started racing. I grabbed a magnifying glass like I was Sherlock Holmes, trying to find any scratches, nicks, or signs of wear. It was in beautiful shape. I mean, shiny, almost untouched. I'd had another one just like it in the pile that I spent on those dumb pretzels. To this day, I don't know if it was the one. But I think about that vending machine more than I probably should. Moral of the story: check your coins, people. Any of the 4 Lincoln bicentennial versions are good. Third, and this is key, no mint mark. Nothing under the date. Fourth, condition. If it looks like it just came out of a roll, don't spend it. Get it graded. Grading makes all the difference. A coin graded MS67 or higher is what brings in those massive values. Anything below that is still collectible, but the prices drop fast. So if you think you've got something special, don't clean it. Don't touch it more than you have to, and definitely don't toss it into a Coinstar machine. I've seen people on eBay trying to sell these for ridiculous prices, and I've seen others accidentally list them for pennies. Literally. So be smart, do your homework, and know what you're looking at. Alright folks, if you've made it this far, you're now one of the few people who knows the truth about the 2009 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It might look ordinary, but it could be worth a fortune. Next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just shove it in your pocket. Take a look. Flip it over. Check the date. Look under that date for a mint mark. If it's missing, you might just be holding a $2.3 million penny. Don't be like me. Don't spend a potentially life-changing coin on stale vending machine snacks. I still see those pretzels in my nightmares. Go check your change, your junk drawer, the bottom of your car cup holders. You never know what treasure's hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you found this video helpful or even just mildly entertaining, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got more stories, tips, and money-making coin finds coming your way. Turn those pennies into paydays, baby.
Hey folks, grab your magnifying glasses and check your couch cushions, because today we're talking about a little copper-colored coin that might just make you a millionaire. That's right, a 1985 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark that's currently worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Yep, $1.6 million. For a penny. You probably threw one of these into a fountain last week for good luck. Who knew you were tossing away a small fortune? Now, before you start flipping over every penny in your change jar, let me tell you, this isn't your average spend it and forget it kind of coin. This bad boy is the golden goose of pocket change. And today, I'm gonna break down everything you need to know about this rare coin, how to spot one, what makes it so special, and how I almost gave one away without even realizing it. So, sit back, relax, maybe grab that old jar of coins you've been ignoring since 1992, and let's dig into the wild story of the 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Alright, let's get into the good stuff. First off, let's talk about the basics. What exactly is the 1985 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny? In 1985, the U.S. Mint was still striking pennies with Lincoln's classic profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. It was a standard coin, nothing flashy. No color-changing holograms, no secret codes, just good old honest Abe looking left and reminding us to save our pennies. Now, when it comes to mint marks, most pennies from that time were made in either Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Coins from Denver have a D, San Francisco gets an S, and Philadelphia, well, they got lazy. A lot of their coins have no mint mark at all. Here's the kicker though. While no mint mark isn't that rare in general, what makes this particular 1985 penny stand out is that it was struck with some serious errors and characteristics that collectors drool over. And by drool, I mean they'll empty their bank accounts for it. We're talking about a penny that was struck with pristine detail, perfect centering, and flawless condition. These are known in the collecting world as high-grade examples. Add in a few oddball features like double die outbursts or planchet errors and boom, suddenly your penny's got a price tag bigger than your house. But why $1.6 million? Well, that brings us to my favorite topic, demand. See, coin collectors aren't just throwing cash around for fun. These folks are serious. They're hunting down the rarest coins in the best possible condition. So when a coin like the 1985 no mint mark penny appears in near perfect shape, and maybe has a small die crack or a misalignment that makes it unique, it becomes a unicorn. A very expensive unicorn. Let me tell you a quick story about how I almost made the dumbest mistake of my life. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer, that black hole where old batteries, rubber bands, and takeout menus go to die, and I found a penny that looked kinda weird. No mint mark, and the lettering looked slightly off. Being the genius I am, I tossed it in the meh pile and forgot all about it. Fast forward a couple weeks later, I'm watching a coin collector video, probably like the one you're watching now, and the guy starts describing the exact penny I found. My heart dropped into my socks. I ran back to the drawer like a man possessed, digging through receipts, loose screws, and expired coupons. And guess what? Vanished. Either I spent it or gave it to the kid down the street for his lemonade stand. So somewhere out there, a 6-year-old might be holding a $1.6 million coin and using it to scrape gum off the sidewalk. Always check your change. And maybe don't clean out the junk drawer without supervision. Alright, now let's talk about how you can spot a 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth a fortune. First, flip it over. If it has a D or S under the date, sorry, not the one. Now, if there's no mint mark, you're still in the game. But that's just the beginning. Next, check the condition. Is it shiny, like it just rolled off the press? That's a good sign. Look closely at Lincoln's eye, the letters, and the edges of the coin. If anything looks a little doubled, off-centered, or sharp as a razor, you might have something. And finally, if you think you have something special, don't go showing it to your buddy Steve at the bar. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading service. Those are the folks who can officially tell you if you're about to retire early or if you've just got a really good-looking penny. Like I said, it's a perfect storm of rarity, condition, collector demand, and errors. There have only been a few high-grade examples discovered, and when they hit the auction block, the bids go wild. One sold for $1.6 million because it was nearly flawless, had a unique die error, and was certified by one of the top grading companies. It's the coin equivalent of finding a mint condition Babe Ruth rookie card with a handwritten apology from Ruth himself. Alright folks, if you've stuck with me this long, you're officially smarter than 90% of the people tossing change in vending machines without a second thought. The 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look like just another coin, but it could be your ticket to early retirement. So check your pockets, search those old piggy banks, and for heaven's sake, don't give your change away without taking a good look first. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, smash that subscribe button like it owes you money, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on more stories of hidden treasures lurking in your spare change. We've got coin tips, collecting strategies, and some pretty wild stories you don't want to miss. Hey folks, gather round because you won't believe what I'm about to tell you. There's a little brown coin you've probably seen 1,000 times, maybe you even flipped one into a tip jar this morning, but one of them just sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yep, that's right. A 1986 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. You might have spent it on a pack of gum, and someone else cashed it in for a mansion and a Ferrari. Now, before you go dumping your piggy banks on the kitchen floor, take a second and let me tell you the wild story behind this tiny treasure. I promise, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Let's talk about what makes the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny so special. First of all, it's not just any OL penny. Most 1986 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia coins typically don't have a mint mark, which makes people think they're all worthless. But not so fast. There's a very rare variety that came off the presses with a particular flaw and a nearly perfect strike that collectors go absolutely bonkers for. It's all about rarity, condition, and that sweet spot where collectors say, I've gotta have it. This particular penny had no mint mark, which is expected from Philly. But what made it stand out was a combination of things: an ultra-sharp strike, a pristine finish that's been preserved for nearly 4 decades, and an error in the copper coating process that gave it a unique appearance under close inspection. That one-of-a-kind detail? That's the golden ticket, and listen, the market for rare coins is hotter than a sidewalk in Phoenix. Collectors are looking for the next big discovery, and because this penny is so common-looking, most folks wouldn't know they're holding a fortune right in their palm. So yes, that cup holder full of change in your car? It might be better than a lottery ticket. A few years ago, I was digging through a box of old coins I inherited from my grandpa. Honestly, I was just trying to find something cool to show my nephews, maybe a steel penny or a buffalo nickel. But in that box, I found a beat-up 1986 penny. No mint mark. I almost tossed it aside. I thought, just another boring coppery coin. But something told me to hang on to it. I stuck it in a plastic sleeve, looked it up online later, and boom, I realized that if it was in perfect condition, that sucker could have been worth 7 figures. Now unfortunately, mine had been through the ringer. Scratches, discoloration, it looked like it had survived a war. But just knowing it could have been the big one? That changed everything for me. Since then, I've been obsessed. I don't just pocket change, I analyze it. My wife thinks I'm nuts. She caught me once with a magnifying glass at 2 a.m, whispering, "Come on, Daddy needs $1 million penny." She thought I'd finally lost it. These coins are out there. Someone found a 1986 no mint mark penny in their collection, graded it professionally, and bam! It went for $1.7 million at auction. I know, it's wild. You can't even get a decent sandwich for $1.70 these days, and yet a penny just paid off someone's mortgage 5 times over. Grab your 1986 pennies. Flip 'em. If there's no mint mark under the date, that's good. But now, take a closer look. Is it in pristine condition? Like no scratches, no discoloration, like it was struck yesterday? Great. Step 2, look for oddities. Anything unusual in the strike or the color? This coin had subtle doubling on the date and letters, plus a very faint off-center strike, but not enough to be obvious. If you think you've got something, get it professionally graded. Don't take it to your cousin Joe who once bought a silver dollar on eBay and now thinks he's a numismatic genius. Go to the pros. PCGS or NGC are your go-to services. A penny in rough condition? Maybe $1 or $2. But one in top condition with a known error? You're looking at life-changing money, and don't forget, collectors are emotional creatures. That $1.7 million penny didn't just sell for its metal. It sold for its story, its rarity, its perfect condition, and the mystery behind how it managed to survive all these years untouched. Go check your couch cushions, your junk drawers, that old coffee can in your garage. The next $1 million penny might be hiding right under your nose, and all it takes is a sharp eye and a little patience to strike gold, or in this case, copper. If you had fun with this video, and you're suddenly feeling the itch to go treasure hunting in your spare change, then hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and real stories about coins worth serious money. And who knows, your next trip to the gas station might make you a millionaire. Thanks for hanging out with me, and remember, never underestimate the power of pocket change. Hey folks, do me a quick favor. Take a second and look at your loose change. Go on, dig in that couch cushion, the bottom of your junk drawer, or even the center console in your truck. Because there's a chance, just a chance, that sitting in your spare change is a plain OL looking penny that's secretly worth $1.8 million. Yep, you heard me right. 1.8 million bucks. And no, I'm not joking or trying to sell you a timeshare. We're talking about a 2015 Lincoln penny. You know, the kind you step over on the sidewalk or flick into a fountain for good luck. Except this one's got no mint mark, and it has become one of the most valuable modern pennies out there. So grab a cold drink, settle in, and let's dig into why this little copper-colored coin is hotter than a sidewalk in July. Alright, before we get into the juicy details, let me tell you a quick story. A couple years ago, I was at a garage sale, one of those get rid of grandma's knickknacks before the HOA complains kind of sales. I bought a dusty jar of old coins for $5. $5. Figured I'd find a wheat penny or maybe a silver dime if I was lucky. Well, later that night, while watching reruns and eating too many cheese puffs, I started going through the jar. And bam! There it was. A 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Looked brand new, like it was straight out of the bank canal. I didn't think much of it at first. I mean, how many 2015 pennies have we seen in our lives, right? But something about it made me pause. It didn't quite feel the same. So I did what any self-respecting coin nerd would do, I googled it. And what I found blew my mind. Turns out, this 2015 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny is one of those rare coins that slipped through the cracks of the US Mint's quality control. It's got some unique characteristics that have collectors going wild. First off, let's talk about the no mint mark part. Normally, Philadelphia coins don't carry a mint mark, so that's not unusual. But it's not just the lack of a mint mark that makes this baby special. It's how this particular batch was struck. Some examples show unusual die polishing marks, extra sharp details, and a very rare die variety that gives the coin a slightly different profile under magnification. To the average person, it looks like a regular penny. But to an experienced collector, it's like finding a diamond in a gravel driveway. And now here's where it gets really fun. One of these bad boys was authenticated and graded at nearly perfect condition MS69 by a top grading service. That's museum-level minty. And at auction, that exact coin fetched an eye-watering $1.8 million. That's enough to buy a cabin in the woods, a boat for the weekends, and still have money left over for snacks. What makes this penny so valuable isn't just its rarity. It's the buzz, the demand, the fact that it's a modern coin that broke all the rules. People love underdog stories. This penny is basically the Rocky Balboa of pocket change. It went the distance. Now you might be thinking, alright, so what do I look for in my own change? Great question. Here's what you need to keep an eye out for. First, check the date. It's gotta be 2015. Make sure it's the memorial reverse, not the shield reverse used on most 2015 pennies. The memorial design was technically retired in 2008, but a tiny number of transitional errors popped up again in 2015. That's what makes this particular variety so insane. If you spot that old memorial building on the back of a 2015 penny, stop everything. Next, look at the surface under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone camera on zoom. Look for ultra-sharp details, odd lines from die polishing, or doubling around the letters or date. If it looks too perfect to be a regular pocket penny, it might be worth getting it graded, but remember, not every 2015 penny is a jackpot. There are billions of them out there. But every once in a while, one sneaks through that's just different. And those are the ones collectors go crazy over. Mine turned out not to be the $1,000,000 coin, but I still had it looked at by a local coin dealer. He gave me $50 for it on the spot. Not bad for something I got out of a $5 coin jar. And who knows, maybe the next one is the one. That's the fun of this hobby. It's like treasure hunting, but you don't need a shovel, just good eyesight and a little curiosity. And hey, let me just say, if I had found the $1.8 million penny, you'd better believe this video would be shot from my new fishing cabin in the Rockies, and I'd be wearing a gold chain shaped like Abraham Lincoln's face. So there you have it. A plain old 2015 penny with no mint mark and a memorial reverse design could be your ticket to becoming a millionaire. If you've got spare change lying around, don't ignore those pennies. They could be holding more value than you think. Coin collecting isn't just for history buffs or old-timers, it's for anyone who loves the thrill of the hunt. And let's be real, we could all use a little more thrill in our lives that doesn't involve jumping out of airplanes or accidentally clicking reply all at work. And now, if you enjoyed this story and want more coin tips, tricks, and wild tales from the world of valuable coins, smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. Ring that bell so you never miss a chance to learn about the next $1,000,000 coin hiding in your glove box. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep checking your change, and don't forget, sometimes the smallest coin can make the biggest impact on your wallet. Hey there coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where pocket change could pay off your mortgage and that old coffee can full of pennies might just make you a millionaire. Now let me hit you with a question. What if I told you that a simple 1985 Lincoln penny, the kind you might overlook on your way to the vending machine, is worth not one, not 10, not even $100,000, but a jaw-dropping $1.9 million? I know what you're thinking, a 1985 penny. That's not even that old. I was still rockin' mullets and eating Pop-Tarts for breakfast back then. You're not alone, my friend. Most people have no clue this little copper-colored coin is sitting on a financial gold mine, so stick around. Today we're diving deep into why this everyday-looking 1985 Lincoln Memorial penny has collectors going bananas. We'll break down its value, what makes it so rare, and yes, I'll share a personal story about the time I accidentally spent a valuable penny on a bag of chips. True story, and I'm still salty about it. Alright, grab your magnifying glass, maybe a cup of coffee, and let's hunt some treasure. So first things first, what makes the 1985 Lincoln penny so special? I mean, let's be real, you've probably got a few of these jingling around in your junk drawer, maybe one under your car seat, but here's the twist, not all 1985 pennies are created equal. See, most of these were struck at the Denver Mint and made from copper-plated zinc, pretty standard stuff. Millions were produced, but there's one tiny microscopic difference in a handful of these coins that sends their value into the stratosphere. We're talking about mint errors and ultra-rare varieties. In particular, there's a version of the 1985 penny that has a strong double die error on the obverse side, which is just fancy collector speak for the front of the coin. Lincoln's profile looks normal at a glance, but under a microscope his eye and the letters "In Liberty" and "In God We Trust" look like they've been photocopied badly twice. And then there's another variety where the mint mark D is oddly placed or repunched. This means they hit the D into the die once, then hit it again just off from the first strike, creating a doubling effect. That's like when you're trying to text too fast and you hit the same letter twice. Welcome to coin collecting. One of these rare 1985 Lincoln pennies was graded MS70, which is a perfect mint state. That's the coin version of winning the DNA lottery. Combine that with a rare error and boom, collectors will fight each other like it's Black Friday at the electronics store. Let me hit you with some context. A regular 1985 penny in circulated condition is worth, well, 1 cent, maybe a few bucks if it's really shiny, but this bad boy with the error in perfect condition hit the auction block and went for nearly $2 million. That's enough to buy a small mansion or a whole lot of tacos. Back in the early 2000s, I was a broke college student living off vending machine snacks and instant noodles. I had this strange habit of emptying my pockets into a glass jar at the end of every day. One day I noticed a really crisp-looking 1985 penny sitting in the pile, and for a moment I thought to myself, that one looks kinda different. The color was off and the D looked like it was punched twice, but I was running late for class and needed exact change for a soda, so I grabbed a handful of coins, tossed them into the machine, and got myself a warm root beer. Worst trade of my life. Years later I read about the rare 1985 penny and instantly felt like someone slapped me with a bag of nickels. I will never know if that was the one, but ever since I've checked every single penny I come across like a squirrel hoarding acorns. So what should you look for in a 1985 Lincoln penny? One, look at Lincoln's eye and the inscriptions. Is there noticeable doubling? That could mean you've got a double die. To check the D mint mark, is it perfectly clean or does it look like it's been Stamped twice or off-center, that's the repunched mint mark. Variety 3 condition is everything. If the coin looks like it just rolled off the mint yesterday, you might be in the money for get it graded seriously. If you suspect you've got a special coin, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll slap it into a plastic holder and give it an official grade that can skyrocket your coin's value. Also, don't go cleaning the coin. I know it's tempting, but coin collectors would rather have a dirty original coin than one that's been scrubbed like a bathroom tile. And don't assume just because your penny says 1985D that it's worth millions. The key is the combination of the error and mint state quality. Those two things together are what give it that rocket fuel value. Oh, and let me tell you, coin hunting is addictive. Once you start, you'll be checking coins at the grocery store, gas station, laundromat, and yes, even under your couch cushions. I've had folks message me saying they found rare coins after watching these videos. One guy pulled a double die penny out of a jar in his grandma's attic and flipped it for enough to pay off his car. Another lady found a rare quarter in her tip jar and took a cruise with the money. So don't think it can't happen to you. The 1985D Lincoln Memorial penny might just be the most exciting thing in your pocket today. From a 1-cent afterthought to a nearly $2 million payday, this little coin is living proof that big value can come in small copper packages. So the next time you get change at the gas station, take a peek at those pennies. That old jar you've been ignoring for years might be your golden ticket. And hey, if you're like me and once accidentally spent a valuable coin on soda, consider this your redemption arc. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth big money, then hit that subscribe button right now. Smash it like you're trying to flatten a penny on a railroad track. Make sure to like this video and drop a comment telling me the weirdest place you've ever found a coin. Maybe under the fridge, maybe in your grandpa's cigar box, or maybe you've got a lucky penny story of your own. I want to hear it. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin has a story. Yours might just be worth a fortune. Hey there, coin hunters and penny pinchers. Have you ever looked at a little copper penny and thought, could this tiny thing be worth $1 million? Sounds like something out of a treasure movie, right? Well, today, I'm gonna blow your mind with a coin you probably have in your pocket or your couch cushions right now, the 1988D Memorial Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, some of these pennies are currently worth a whopping $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right, 1 million. Stick around because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this humble penny so special, why collectors are losing their minds over it, and how you might just be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Plus, I'll share a hilarious story from my own coin collecting adventures that you won't want to miss. So, if you're ready to turn your dusty pennies into treasure, hit that like button and let's dive right in. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1988D Memorial Lincoln penny. For those of you not too familiar with US coins, the D mint mark means this penny was minted in Denver. And what makes this penny different is its design. It's part of the Lincoln Memorial series that ran from 1959 all the way to 2008. But the 1988 pennies have a little twist that sets some apart in the eyes of collectors. A penny worth $1 million? You've gotta be kidding me. But here's the deal, coins get their value from rarity, condition, and errors or special characteristics. In the case of the 1988D penny, there are a handful of super rare variations and minting errors that are extremely scarce. One famous variation collectors drool over is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice slightly off, making letters or numbers look doubled, kind of like a poorly photocopied document. These double die coins are extremely rare, and a pristine 1988D double die Lincoln Memorial penny can fetch huge prices, up to $1 million in top condition. Let me explain why this happens. Minting coins is a huge operation with thousands of steps, and occasionally mistakes slip through. Most people toss these coins without realizing their value, which is why these errors are so rare and valuable. But it's not just the double die. There are other subtle differences in how the coin was struck, like doubled mint marks or slight variations in the date's font. Some of these are so subtle that only expert collectors or professional graders can spot them. That's why if you think you've got one of these, don't just take my word for it, get it appraised by a professional. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The condition of the coin makes a massive difference. A penny with scratches, dirt, or damage? Sorry, it's probably worth a few cents. But a coin in mint state, meaning perfect condition like it just came out of the mint, can skyrocket in value. Collectors love those flawless coins like they're shiny trophies. So, how rare are these $1 million coins? We're talking about a handful, maybe a dozen or so known in the entire world. That rarity drives the price into the stratosphere. And with coin collecting growing in popularity again, the prices are only climbing. Now, before you start digging through your old coin jars, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a treasure. A few years back, I was cleaning out my childhood room, which looked like a tornado hit a coin shop. Among the clutter, I found a handful of old pennies, including some 1988 DS. I tossed them casually into a bag for my nephew to use for his school project, thinking they were just ordinary pennies. Weeks later, my buddy who's a coin expert took a look at those pennies and gasped. Turns out one of those 1988 DS was a rare double die. I mean, I almost made the ultimate rookie mistake of letting a $1 million penny walk out the door as spare change. Lesson learned: always check your coins, especially the ones from the Lincoln Memorial series. Okay, so why am I telling you all this? Because coins like these can turn your casual collection into a jackpot. Even if you don't find a $1 million coin, knowing what to look for can help you spot undervalued gems and avoid common pitfalls. If you're starting out, keep an eye on those 1988 D pennies and educate yourself on mint marks and errors. And if you're lucky enough to find one in pristine condition, get it graded. Trust me, the difference in value between a nice penny and a perfect one is mind-boggling. The incredible story behind the 1988 D Memorial Lincoln penny, a tiny copper coin that's worth $1 million in rare cases. It's wild to think that such a small, everyday object could be so valuable, but that's the magic of coin collecting. Now, if this got you excited to dig through your old coins or learn more about spotting valuable pennies, I've got plenty more tips and treasure hunts coming your way. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the secrets to turning your coins into cash. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin or almost missed out on a big score like I did, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. I've got a wild one for you. Imagine holding a tiny penny in your hand worth over $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1980 No Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny. One little copper coin that could make you richer than your wildest dreams, or at least enough to buy a pretty sweet dinner. If you've ever thought pennies were just for lucky wishing or stuck under the couch cushions, think again. This penny might just change your mind, and maybe your bank account too. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this humble penny is turning heads and wallets upside down in the coin world. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my tips on coins that can seriously pay off. Now, let's get into the story behind the penny that's got everyone talking, and why you might already have one hiding in your pocket. Alright, first things first. The 1980 No Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny might sound like just another ordinary coin, but it's anything but. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, but what makes this particular one insanely valuable is a combination of rarity, condition, and a few quirky factors that coin collectors go crazy for. You see, in 1980, the US Mint was churning out pennies left and right, millions of them. But the no mint mark pennies from that year in ultra high quality conditions are extremely rare. When I say rare, I mean the kind of rare where only a handful exist in the entire world. The no mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia, but finding one in perfect or near perfect shape is like spotting a unicorn in Times Square. And now, let me tell you how this penny got on my radar. A few years back, I was rummaging through a box of old coins my grandfather had passed down to me. You know those moments when you casually flip through stuff and suddenly, something just sticks out? Yeah, that happened. I pulled out a penny, looked at it, and thought, this looks different. It was a 1980 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, and in surprisingly great shape considering its age. So, I decided to get it appraised. Fast forward a few weeks, and guess what? That penny was worth over $1 million in the collector market. I mean, who knew my grandpa's dusty old coin stash was actually a gold mine? Okay, maybe not literal gold, but definitely valuable enough to buy a lifetime supply of burgers. Now let's break down why this penny commands such a crazy price. It all comes down to a few key things collectors look for. First, the condition. Coins get worn out, scratched, and damaged over time. But if you find one with that shiny, mint-new look, collectors call that mint state. The 1980 no mint mark penny in mint state condition is practically a time capsule, which makes it extremely desirable. Second, the rarity. There are millions of pennies from 1980, but only a tiny fraction of those are the no mint mark variety in pristine condition. Combine that with the fact that it's the Lincoln Memorial design, which was standard for pennies from 1959 to 2008, and you've got a very specific, collectible niche. Third, the market demand. Believe it or not, coin collectors are like treasure hunters. When a coin like this comes up for sale, bidders get competitive, and prices skyrocket. In recent years, the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has hit around $1.1 million in auction sales. That's some serious cash for a coin you can hold between your fingers. Did you know the copper content in pennies used to be worth more than the coin itself? Nowadays, copper prices fluctuate, but the true value of this penny isn't the metal, it's the story and rarity behind it. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Sure, but what are the chances I have one of these hiding in my pocket or in my change jar? Well, the truth is, it's pretty slim. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt. Sometimes you find gold, sometimes you find, well, regular pennies. Always check your coins carefully. Look for no mint marks on 1980 pennies, and if one looks unusually shiny or pristine, get it checked by a professional. It might just be your lucky day. Oh, and speaking of lucky days, remember that time I almost tossed a whole box of coins into the recycling bin? True story. I was rushing, in a bad mood, and didn't even bother looking closely. If I hadn't stopped last minute to check, I might have lost that $1 million penny forever. Moral of the story: never underestimate the power of patience and a little curiosity. Let's talk about how to care for these valuable pennies. If you ever get your hands on a potential treasure, don't just toss it around. Keep it safe in a coin holder or flip. Avoid cleaning it with anything harsh, because that can damage the surface and drastically reduce its value. Remember, collectors love originality, not shiny new. Also, it's good to know where to sell or get appraisals. Don't just Google random places and hand your coin over to the first buyer you meet. Find reputable coin dealers or auction houses. Getting a professional grading from companies like PCGS or NGC can confirm the coin's authenticity and condition, which can boost your selling price. The coin market can be unpredictable, but coins like the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny have held their value well and even appreciated over time. So if you find one, consider it a long-term investment. That tiny 1980 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny isn't just pocket change. It could be your ticket to over $1 million if it's in the right condition. Rarity, condition, and demand make this coin one of the most valuable pennies out there. If you're like me and love the thrill of the hunt, keep an eye on those pennies in your change jar, coin collections, or handed-down boxes. Who knows? Maybe your next treasure is just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth money, how to spot them, and strategies to build your own valuable collection, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm dropping new videos every week packed with tips, stories, and insider secrets. Hit that bell so you're the first to know, and hey, if you have any cool coin stories or questions, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from fellow coin hunters. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. Until next time, keep those eyes sharp and your pockets jingling with potential $1 million pennies.